Why Avatar: The Last Airbender is the best cartoon ever. Very few cartoons have the ability to say that they dominated an entire era when it comes to story-driven animated shows, and then make a comeback equally, if not more dominant, a whole decade and then some after the show concluded. This, however, is exactly what Avatar: The Last Airbender managed to do. Because of this feat and just what the show is and has to offer, I, as well as many others, consider Avatar to be the best cartoon to ever exist. While it is not my favorite show, minus Steven Universe, and everyone has that one show that's extra special to them, I can easily recognize that The Last Airbender is in a league of its own. Chances are you have heard of the Avatar hype train, and if you're not bored like myself, you're probably wondering how an early 2000s Nickelodeon show is taking the entire world by storm today. Well, allow me to break it down a bit for you. So to start, Avatar: The Last Airbender aired back in 2005, and was the work of legendary showrunner Michael D. DiMartino. His incredible concept was able to be turned into a franchise that pulled off so much with its give or take 50 episodes over 3 seasons. The show gained such a massive following, probably because it was something that was rarely seen before on television around the time. That being a serialized animated show that took inspiration from Eastern media but still aired on a very American channel, that being Nickelodeon. The show brought in some heavy influence from Asian animes at the time, and it is evident in the show's art style, animation, and fight scene choreography. Except it all very much so has a Western coat of paint attached to it, which made it something recognizable, but also unique and exciting. But exclusively uniqueness does not a good cartoon make. You gotta have an engaging story with some likable characters and professional animation. And guess what? Avatar covers all those bases, because of course it does, the best cartoon of all time. The story is very thorough, yet concise. It fits in its 3-season time slot perfectly. It didn't need more, but it would have suffered from less. The narratives The Last Airbender puts out there are engaging, like I said, but they're also thematically rich and mature, not just for a Nickelodeon show, but for any show. The plot points of war, death, corruption, trauma, imperialism, abuse, genocide, prejudice, pretty much all the serious heavy topics are able to be explored in this show, which at surface level is pretty goofy and fantasy. And then you got those characters. The wide range of relatable and real characters the show brings are what many fans love most about the franchise. The show definitely leans into the characters' dialogue and action sequences. It was the show's bread and butter. With the plethora of characters, we got to dive into their unique personalities and bending methods, and it all made for some fantastic television. The 4 elements and the wielders of said elements make for some of the show's best moments and scenes. There's so much depth and layers that the show goes into with the lore and specifics of bending, especially in Korra, but even here, getting to see all the different forms of bending and how non-benders and benders behave and interact, it's just fascinating to watch. And not only does a fantasy world with element benders make for a good story, it also makes for some absolutely breathtaking visuals and animation. The art style and quality of animation that the show was able to pull off back in 2005 is practically mind-blowing. Like, they were able to pull off this scene and it looks as good as anything would made right now. Except when this came out, I was only 1 year old. Kinda crazy to think about. The art style and animation draws from the Eastern type animes and it looks beautiful. But also, like, the backgrounds, environments, character designs, everything in Avatar: The Last Airbender looks stunning. It's no wonder people didn't want to take their eyes off this show. Including myself. Although I didn't watch through the entire show until its huge resurface on Netflix back in 2020. And I too fell in love with the style, animation, characters, and rich story. My favorite storyline being that of Season 1's finale with Siege of the North. Katara learning bending from a master to Princess Yue's sacrifice. Zuko's obsessive tracking down of Aang to Admiral Zhao's best moments. In my opinion, that season's finale knocked everything out of the park. And I would be remiss if I didn't yet again bring up the incredible hidden gem that is Catherine Lynn Rose's Avatar: The Last Musical. Her biggest and most dramatic piece was a song titled Balance, and it recaps the whole Siege of the North in a fantastic musical number. Check it out, support Catherine Lynn Rose, she is incredible. So I'm sure you'll have reached your limit of hearing a guy gush about a cartoon, so I'll wrap things up here by stating what might just be a controversial opinion for all you Avatar superfans out there. I know there is a plethora of Zutara shippers out there, but I unfortunately am just not one of them. I'm a sucker for Katara and Aang, always have been, they're just so adorable. So while the whole fire and water compatibility thing sorta does make sense, I'm a protagonist partners type of guy. Unless they're the most obnoxious male protagonist of all time, then they could just take the other protagonist and pair them up with someone else at the absolute last second. Totally not hinting at anything there. Oh, and Iroh is the best. Leaves from the Vine is an S-tier song and he deserves all the love. So that, and all the other things I said are just why Avatar: The Last Airbender is the best cartoon ever.